public school system is systematically broken. It is not something that you can fix by implementing new strategies here. It's not something that you can fix by adding more resources there. It is broken by design. Whoever created it, and this shouldn't even be controversial, it's already a known fact. The people that created it to have followers, not to have leaders. It is broken by design. And if you're still having hesitations of this knowledge, think about this. Do grades really matter? Think about that question. Because let's see the average life, right? You finish school, you finish college, you get a normal job with normal working hours, with 1 week vacation, with a 40K salary, and you have a family of 4, you have a middle class house, and you live your life. That's average life. That's what happens when you go to school, you finish college, and you do everything by the books. Let's talk about a above average life. Above average life, all the same things. You go to school, you go to college, you get a job. This time you invest in yourself. So you invest maybe in property, you invest in stocks, you do real estate on the side, you have a business, you put money for your future. So you still have the same setup, except that you're earning more. So instead of 1 week vacation, you can splurge a little bit more. Instead of a small middle class house, maybe you can get a above average for your salary. You punch the weight class up. That is above average life. Let's talk about a successful life. Successful life, you don't work for anybody. You don't follow any sort of rules. Your job is purposeful for yourself. You do something out of the goodness, out of the purpose, out of maybe a goal to do better. You're not tied down to anybody's authority. You're not tied down to anybody's agenda. You're not tied down to any stupidity rules that govern corporations. You don't have normal working hours, right? You work from home. You work on your own schedule. You have your own internal drive. And of course, with that constraint, which it is constraint, you have a lot more flexibility. So you have more fun, you have more travel, you have more expenses that you can do. You can splurge around more. Your job is, you're devoted more to your job. However, it's more purposeful to you, or at least it gives you more benefit for yourself. And so you get to splurge more on whatever you want. That is a successful life, at least in my book. And of course, you get freedom with that. Notice how in all of these 3 lives, grades was not mentioned once. Passing, sure, passing, but yet the passing standard is a 55 for testing, for math, a 45 for reading, and a 50 for science. These are state tests that you have to pass with those grade levels. So notice how grades do not matter in the longitude of your life. So what did matter in these all 3 life trajectories, what did matter was your work ethic and the interview. And all of those things, right? Because in the average life and the above average life, it was the interviews that mattered. And the successful life, it was your work ethic, how much devotion you want to put into something purposeful that brings fruit. In all of those, grades did not matter either. It was all things that led to a job interview, all things that led to a purposeful, that your own, right? You're your own CEO. Average and the above average job, interviews matter. For the successful job, your work ethic mattered. How much devotion you want to put into your own company, how much devotion you want to put into something purposeful for you, or how much investment you want to put into something that will bring more revenue for yourself without being tied to any corporation. None of these had anything to do with grades. The things you needed in all of this were social skills. They were how calm you stayed under pressure, the workflow that you do, how much eye contact you give with the interviewer, the authority that you bring, your charm, your eloquence, the way you speak, the way you get to engage in a conversation, your social awareness, your presence. All of these things school does not teach. School is fabricated, grades aren't important, and everything that I mentioned now should tell you why school is systematically broken. It is not meant to help you in any of these areas. It is meant for you to get a process, repeat that over again, and then follow the next process. That is conditioning, that is not education.